Hello, Star Wars. The audio on this one is absolute garbage, and if I didn't have a really awesome episode as far as the gameplay and reaction goes, I probably wouldn't release it. But just be warned, you're going to hear analog stick clicks and low quality audio, and I promise the next time I record will be set up with a much more professional mic setup, and I'm so sorry. So if you don't like listening to crunchy audio, please give this one a skip. But if that's not a huge deal breaker for you, this is a pretty fun little episode for you. Thanks. May the force be with you. Hello, Star Wars! If you're seeing this, I'm going to be reusing this gameplay footage for the background content for other videos. Figured I might just release it on its own. Little Let's Play chatter in the background. Oh, I love this. See, I was actually wondering, this is currently in just the overworld. This isn't for any story mission in any game. Oh, sorry, this isn't in any story mission for any of the main movies. This isn't episode 1, for instance. This is just I went back to Naboo and went back to the lake where the Gungans city is entered from. And it was always something I was curious about. I honestly haven't run into this. I was wondering, because of the vast different, I guess 25, 30 years of timeline, what enemies I would run into. Because this being, I can't reckon, maybe 20 BBY, 25 BBY. And if this was in Imperial times, you certainly wouldn't be running into B-1 battle droids. If this was in the sequel era, you certainly wouldn't be running into B-1 battle droids. I think it's interesting. This is not something I've run into. As you couldn't already tell, I have not completed this game top to bottom. I've definitely gotten really far. Freaking love it. It's a absolutely fantastic game, and incredibly rich, really vast. I've finished all the story missions, and I'm currently going back through in free play with all the characters unlocked to get as many, if not all, of the challenges and the data bricks, the Kyber bricks, and all the mini kits. It's really fun to go back through the main missions. I've actually found that obviously, once you complete the story missions, there's two parts to this game. There's the story missions themselves, where you're playing through the events of each film. And then, as you can see here, the overworld. And the overworld is more vast than I have seen in certainly any LEGO Star Wars game, and honestly feels like it could compete with any other video game that has its own, oh my god! Holy crap. That was just a little Easter egg. I think that is the front cover for the original LEGO Star Wars games, which was the prequels. That is really funny to find here. Oh, and all the enemies respawn. I figured I might get some more footage of that. What I was saying was the overworld here is fascinating, and it certainly is more advanced than any other, certainly LEGO Star Wars game, certainly LEGO game. The only thing similar to it that I just recently finished playing through the LEGO Lord of the Rings game, and that had a fantastic overworld. You can basically walk from the Shire to Mordor, and every single step there's a ton of fantastic collectibles, ton of fun stuff to find. And just like this, it has an incredibly rich overworld where you can also then hop into every single movie in that trilogy, as well as a bunch of fun race challenges, hidden Easter eggs, and hidden collectibles. But comparing those two really does not come close. The Skywalker Saga, this game has such an incredibly rich overworld. I mean, I never expected to find Coruscant alone is an incredibly rich gameplay experience. Every single alleyway, every single level. I mean, nothing else to be said about Theed City here in Naboo. So, in my own playing of the game, I have really only played the main quests, the main storylines, the main movie episodes, and I'm slowly but surely going to make my way through completing the overworlds. Obviously not all on camera, but you might see some of it here. It's really quite lovely. I really love playing this game. It's a very nostalgic feeling, and it's fantastic to see in such great graphics, to see so many different parts of truly the Skywalker Saga, but really so many different parts of Star Wars getting the love of a modern video game. It's really the perfect Lego Star Wars game, especially as Star Wars itself is going to be moving on from the 9-film Skywalker Saga to explore the timeline further. So it's fantastic to see all of the different eras put out here. Now, if you haven't already seen it, I'm not sure when or if I'm going to be releasing this or this audio. I'm certainly going to be using this background footage. But the reason I'm using Jar Jar and hanging out here is for the upcoming post. I already have it written, but I'm going to hone it and release it on Ahmed Best and the really, really disheartening hate that he received. And eventually, thankfully, gratefully, how he has returned after the Star Wars positive majority of Star Wars fans have been clamoring and expressing tons of appreciation and recognition of Ahmed Best. And the creative decision makers of Star Wars saw that, recognized it, and brought that in to, I believe, I think that was Mandalorian Season 3, when Kelleran Beck, character named, played, and partially created by Ahmed Best himself, was the one to save Grogu. I mean, it's of all the different bit parts or minor, even a few line characters to have in Mandalorian, to give Ahmed Best, and for Ahmed Best to deserve such an important character in saving Grogu, filling in a really impactful period of time, and just thinking about it long term, anytime we see Grogu after Nightfall, after Order 66, after Anakin has, at that point, Lord Vader has destroyed and killed every single Jedi, anytime you see him, I think currently we haven't seen anything past Kelleran Beck and Grogu in, if memory serves, a Naboo Silver Starfighter. I mean, what an incredible plane. So I think that's fantastic. You know, I really hope that we get to see more of Jedi Master Kelleran Beck. I think it's such a fantastic way to come back. So that's why we're seeing a whole lot of Jar Jar here as I'm running around the Lake Paunga? I've never heard that said. On the Gungan Lake here in Naboo. It is really, it's such a fantastic experience, and obviously just sprinting around and smashing blocks and collecting studs. I definitely grew up playing as many LEGO Star Wars games as I could get my hands on, and it's such a fantastic tone, and just being in the Star Wars stories themselves, but also some of the most interesting parts to me are the overworld, are the bits that aren't exactly explored, or I never played the Star Wars Clone Wars LEGO Star Wars game, but that is such a fantastic way to bring that to life. Let's see if he has range up, and he does. So it's just been such a joy to play this game. I'm certainly very lucky to have it. I think we as fans are lucky to be able to enjoy this world. And personally, I recommend buying. I've shelled a little bit amount of money for the character packs. I got a few of my favorite different characters, and this might just be me. Me deluding myself or trying to justify a few dollar purchase for a character skin, but it really does feel quite overpowered. I'm sure one of the other characters you unlock through the just playing of the game does grant you use of a jetpack, but it does feel like some of the characters I bought are potentially overpowered. It is really quite it is really a fantastic experience, and I recommend it. I mean, there's few things more fun or funny than to have a completely timeline erroneous character fighting in the sequel trilogy or the original series or the prequels, or character from the shows or animated series that never would have been seen in the original series. It was fantastic. Something I've been really curious about, I might have already mentioned this, is these are, you know, timeline specific. I haven't run into anything in the overworld that has shown the timeline change here. And the fact that we're fighting B1 battle droids in a random time where I just finished playing something from the sequel trilogy, which is 35, 40 years after this. So I think I'm going to call it here. I think I've gotten a lot of good background capture animation of Jar Jar running around for at least right now. And if I do end up releasing this, and if you do hear it as Let's Play, then I will sign off with the standard. I am Force Positive. I'm here to provide positive perspectives on Star Wars, and may the Force be with you.